Coming up on The Cut.
Jane Goodall has passed, but her legacy lives on.
NYPD is worried that a TikTok trend will lead to the death of many teens.
And killer whales are causing havoc on the European coast.
All this and more coming up on The Cut.
The Cut starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Cut Network. I'm Abby Jurek.
And I'm Leticia Nadiello. Earlier this week, the Israeli government detained hundreds of pro-Palestinian activists while trying to transport aid to Gaza through their global SMUD flotilla. According to the Associated Press, after being returned home to their home countries, many of these activists now claim they face severe mistreatment from the Israeli government while in detention. The flotillas consisted of 42 boats attempting to intercept Israeli naval forces. Among the detainees were notable names including Greta Thunberg and Mandela Mandela. Though the Israeli government claims it allowed protesters to voluntarily return to their countries, many claim they were subjected to subhuman treatment by the Israeli military forces. One activist, Italian journalist Saverio Tomasi, claims that they were all treated, quote, like monkeys, after being denied access to basic resources such as medicine. Tomasi then claimed having seen Thunberg at the port with her hands tied while an Israeli soldier placed an Israeli flag next to her, fueling the journalist's claims of, quote, verbal and psychological violence. Other activists, including another Italian journalist, Lorenzo D'Agostino, claimed he faced and witnessed similar inhumane treatment at the hands of the Israeli military. The Israeli Foreign Affairs Ministry is now claiming that all of the allegations are, quote, ludicrous and baseless accusations, while the National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, actually claimed he was, quote, proud of the way the military handled the activist, claiming that the people on the flotilla were actually supporting terrorism. This news comes after Trump has been attempting to negotiate a ceasefire between both nations' leaders. Many are now left wondering how this new development will affect future negotiations between Hamas and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Last weekend, Sean Diddy Combs received his sentence in a Manhattan courtroom. Combs will be incarcerated for over 4 years. The moment of his sentencing marked the end of the 8-week trial that caught national attention. It also defamed Combs' image forever as many disturbing truths about him had come out. From sex parties to domestic abuse to trafficking, Combs is now seen not as a successful rapper, but rather as a criminal. After being acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering charges a few months ago, Friday's sentencing showed regression in the case. His attorneys hoped he'd be out in a matter of months, but even without the trafficking and racketeering charges, the judges ultimately decided that his crimes and abuse tactics earned him 50 months behind bars. Combs and over 30 of his family members present at the trial were distraught and upset. Some of his children even pleaded the judge for a lighter sentence. Combs was then escorted to a federal jail in Brooklyn.
Anthologist Jane Goodall has passed away. Cut reporter Samuel Kabamba has how she is still making an impact. Samuel?
Thank you, Leticia. Jane Goodall, the world-renowned primatologist, anthropologist, and humanitarian, dedicated her life to comprehending and protecting chimpanzees from the forest in Tanzania to countless communities around the world. Goodall inspired millions through her groundbreaking discoveries and lifelong compassion for animals. In 1960, at just 26 years old, Jane Goodall traveled to Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania, where her in-depth research of chimpanzees redefined science. She was the first person to document chimpanzees using tools. This was a pivotal discovery that changed the way humans understood themselves and the world we live in. Her approach broke barriers by her methodology. By not assigning numbers to chimpanzees, she gave them names, believing that every animal had personality, emotions, and purpose. Beyond her research, Goodall became a global advocate for conservation and compassion. She formulated the Jane Goodall Institute and the youth program Roots and Shoots, which really inspired the new generations to protect animals and the environment. Jane Goodall once said, "The greatest danger to our future is apathy." Her words will forever serve as a reminder that everyone has a role to play in caring for the planet, its animals, and each other. For the Cut Network, I'm Samuel Kabamba.
Thank you, Samuel. We hope to continue seeing her influence left on this planet. Two teenage girls in New York lost their lives while attempting the dangerous stunt known as the, quote, subway surfing, riding on top of a moving train. According to police, both fell off and were struck by the train, leaving no survivors. The workers who discovered the young woman and family upon receiving the news of their death were, quote, horribly shaken by the tragedy. The incident sparked concern among authorities about a growing trend on social media platforms, including TikTok, where young people attempt risky challenges for attention. The NYP reports that the number of subway surfers has risen significantly, sparking from 135 people in 2023 to 229 last year. Already, 6 people have died attempting the subway surfing challenge. City officials and transit authorities warn that such behavior is deadly and call for greater education prevention and safety measures to discourage future tragedies. Police have since issued public service announcements using train riders to, quote, ride inside and stay alive.
2 Arizona teenagers have been reported missing after their camping trip. Cut reporter Bentley Yank has the story. Bentley?
Thank you, Abby. On Memorial Day weekend, 2 teenagers, Evan Clark and Pandora Jolsrud, ventured out in the Tonto National Forest area off of Highway 87 here in Arizona. The 2 teenagers were reported missing after not returning home from their camping trip. On May 27th, deputies responding near the area discovered their bodies. They had been murdered. Investigators found evidence that the bodies had been moved from the camp area. The suspect, Thomas Brown, age 31, has now been arrested after traces of his DNA were found at the crime scene. He was taken into custody on October 2nd by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. He now faces 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Evan and Pandora. May the 2 teens rest in peace. For the Cut Network, I'm Bentley Yank.
Thank you, Bentley. We will keep you updated on any development in Brown's court case. This past week, North America's largest electronics exhibition took place here in downtown Phoenix. SemiCon West celebrated microelectronics at the Phoenix Convention Center, which marked the largest show they've had in 2 decades. The show began Tuesday and wrapped up yesterday and held over 1,000 booths along with more than 800 companies. President and CEO of the Arizona Chamber of Commerce, Danny Seiden, says the show moving to Arizona is a, quote, big deal. Seiden said, quote, the fact that it's coming to Arizona reflects that we are now the semiconductor hub of the country. He went on to explain that he thinks the most important industry right now is that of technology and AI. All of these advances, he says, run through semiconductors, and that is what this week has been all about. International, national, and our local Arizona companies attended SemiCon this week, generating nearly $10 million in direct spending. Despite Seiden's frustration with the timing of the recent government shutdown, Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego says Phoenix is honored to host SemiCon West for the first time and showcase incredible projects.
Killer whales have been attacking boats on the coast of Spain. Cut reporter Angel Garcia has how these animals are causing trouble for the boat owners. Angel?
Thank you, Leticia. You may know Jaws, but did you know that killer whales can do the same? Iberian orcas have damaged several boats off the coast of Spain. In the recent weeks, orcas along the Spanish coast are attacking boats, leaving destroyed rubbers and stranded crews in their wake. A small population of killer whales have developed a liking for damaging boats, and researchers have still studied this behavior. However, they think that orcas are likely being playful rather than aggressive. In August, orcas tore the rubber off a German sailboat in Oak Grove. The whales continued to play with the sailboat while it was being towed to safety. Valentin Otero, the owner of the ship, stated, quote, the truth is, we're very frightened. In fact, we completely freaked out when we realized the orcas were hitting the boat, end quote. Although these shamus may seem like they're having fun, keep a safe distance in case they get too rowdy. If you happen to come across these mammals in the ocean, don't hesitate to call the local Coast Guard or 122. For the Cut Network, I'm Angel Garcia.
Thank you, Angel. Now we are sending it to Cut anchor Cindy Craven with what is happening in sports this week.
Thank you, Leticia, and welcome back to Sports on the Cut. I'm Cindy Craven, and with the start of the NHL and NBA seasons, as well as the race to the end in both the WNBA and MLB, we have a lot to talk about. So let's jump right in. As the last few MLB teams left fight their way to the World Series on October 24th, every point, every strikeout, and every play is critical to staying in for another day. This upcoming week, the 4 divisional titles will face off for the National and American League titles. All 4 series will definitely be exciting, so tune in to wherever you watch baseball because you won't want to miss it. Also in the fight for a league championship are the Phoenix Mercury and the Las Vegas Aces. With the first 2 wins of the series, the Aces hold a strong lead early. This puts the Mercury in a tough position and makes the game tonight a key factor in their race to victory. However, head coach Nate Tibbetts and his team have shown an impressive use of home court advantage during the postseason right down here at Phoenix Arena. All we know now is that by the end of this week, a winner of the 2025 season will be announced, and it's evident that both teams are hungry for that title. Sad about the close of these 2 seasons? Don't be. Hockey and men's basketball and all the football we could dream of are here to keep us company. With the start of the preseason hockey in late September, teams such as the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Dallas Stars have wasted no time in building up their momentum to the start of the regular season, which began this past Wednesday. The NBA regular season is also right on the horizon, with the first game taking place on October 21st. The Houston Rockets will be facing the 2025 NBA champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, in Oklahoma City. As per usual, football, both college and professional, have been anything but predictable. Going into preseason, Texas and Penn State held the number 1 and number 2 spots on the college football AP poll rankings. Currently, both teams have dropped drastically and are no longer even ranked. Now, Ohio State and Miami have taken their spots, with Oregon following closely behind. Some games that will definitely be worth a watch this weekend are the College Game Day Game of the Week, number 3 Oregon versus number 12 Indiana game, as well as the high-stakes matchup between Alabama and undefeated Missouri, as the Crimson Tide follows a big win this past weekend over Georgia. In the professional atmosphere, many second and third string players were given the opportunity to prove themselves this past week. Second string quarterback Mac Jones has been filling in for the 49ers during Purdy's absence and performed very highly this past week against the Rams with a pass completion percentage of 67% and 2 touchdowns in Los Angeles. Second string running back Amari DiMercado for the Arizona Cardinals, however, was not so fortunate. With a fumble on the goal line, a 72-yard rushing touchdown was called back and led to yet another loss for Arizona. Also having trouble in the world of running backs is former ASU football star Cam Skattebo. After a frustrating and costly fumble made in the red zone during the start of the 4th quarter, Skattebo posted on Twitter later that day saying, quote, "Sorry Giants fans, I'll be better for y'all. Love." End quote. One thing is for sure, no matter the sport, this next week will be one to watch. That's all I have for you this week. I'm Cindy Craven, and thanks for joining me for this week's Sports Roundup. Now back to the desk.
Thank you, Cindy. Arizona grocery stores need to watch out for new furry customers unexpectedly wandering their aisles. Last Wednesday, a bear was spotted at a Fry's grocery store in southern Arizona. Earlier that week, the bear had been spotted in a nearby neighborhood and once again right outside the store before promptly making its entrance. According to Oro Valley policeman Darren Wright, the bear managed to get through the automatic doors after bumping into them a couple of times. After this, he simply proceeded to walk around the grocery store for a couple of minutes before bumping into a customer and quickly running away. The furry culprit did no damage, sources claim. Darren states that bear sightings in Oro Valley are not uncommon and that they will even hear reports of some in the desert, especially around wintertime. Still, Wright claims that this, quote, is the most interesting interaction we've had with a bear. So, Abby, if you had to bump into any animal at a grocery store, which one would it be?
I feel like I would maybe want to bump into a horse because we have a lot of those around here, and if it just waltzed in, I could hop on and right away.
I agree.
Yeah. What about you?
I would say a raccoon, just because I think it's funny that they have thumbs, and
Yeah.
I think I would even help it steal some groceries for its family.
They're cute.
They
yeah.
are cute.
That's a good answer. Thank you so much for watching The Cut.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Cut Network. I'm Leticia.
And I'm Abby. Have a nice evening.